Good morning students. So today we are going to discuss about mutualism and commensalism. In the previous video also I had explained the different type of the population interaction, and today we are going to discuss about mutualism. So in mutualism, that is the interaction between two organisms and the species in which both are benefited. So it is the association between two species and here both are getting benefits. Now there are so many examples to explain the process of mutualism. The first one is lichen. Lichen, that is association of algae and the fungi. So in the lichen you can find out one partner, so that is algae, and the another partner is fungi. So how both are mutually benefited? Algae, you know that algae is autotroph and algae can prepare its own food. And fungus, you know that fungus, they are saprophytes. They cannot prepare their own food. So algae is preparing the food and giving the food to fungus, whereas the fungus is absorbing water and the minerals from the soil and providing to algae. So here both are benefited. So that is an example of mutualism. Now another example is the mycorrhizae. Mycorrhizae, so that is the association between fungus and roots of higher plants. So here also you can see both the organism, both the species, they are benefited. So how? Because as I told you, the fungus is saprophyte and here the fungus is mainly absorbing phosphorus for the higher plants. Because you know that the higher plant, for their normal growth, there is requirement of 3 elements in maximum quantity, and these 3 elements are NPK: nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Okay. So the fungus is taking phosphorus from the soil and providing to the roots of the higher plant, and whereas the higher plants are providing food to fungus and also the place to survive. So in this relationship also both are mutually benefited. Now the next example, so that is the plant and the animal relationship. So all of you know that plants meet different type of the animals, mainly the insect or the biotic agents for the process of pollination. Pollination, so that is the transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma of either the same flower or between the two different flowers. So how the pollen grain they are transferred? Because the pollen grain they are not transferred automatically. For the transfer of the pollen grain there is requirement of agency. So the agency can be either wind or the water or animals, or maximum you can see that the pollination, so that is carried out with the help of the insect. So here the insect are helping in the process of pollination, and in return what they are getting from the plant, they are getting pollen as food or nectar. So nectar, so that is a sugary water which is found in many flowers. So the insect or the animals, they are getting the pollen grains and they are using the pollen grains as food. So here also you can see that both the plant as well as the insect or the animals, both they are benefited from this kind of the association. Okay. But in nature also you can find out in some of the plants, the animals they are getting pollen grains as food, but they are not helping in the process of pollination. So those kind of the animals or the insect, they are called nectar robber or cheater, because they are cheating the plant. The plant is giving them as reward as the pollen grains, which can be used by the insect as food. But the plant is not getting any benefit because they are not helping in the process of pollination. So what do you understand by co-evolution? Yesterday also I had explained you co means together, and the evolution, you know that the changes which are taking place in the body of living organism, so that in course of time there is origin of a new species. So in this process of interaction where two species they are related to each other, now if there is any kind of the evolution taking place in any one species, then the same thing should take place in the other species. Otherwise this kind of the interaction cannot coexist. So that is called co-evolution. Now I will explain you by giving an example of the fig. Fig is a plant. Fig flower is having the inflorescence which is called hypanthodium. And inside the inflorescence you can see the male flower, so that is found at the tip of the inflorescence, and whereas the female flower, so that is found at the bottom of the inflorescence. There are two types of the female flower. One is the fertile female flower, another is the sterile. So in the fertile female flower you see the style, so that is straight, This is a female flower, and which one is the fertile, which can participate in the process of reproduction. Whereas this flower is sterile female flower, where you see the style, so that is slightly curved. So what kind of the relationship is existing between wasp and the fig flower? Wasp, so that is one kind of the moth. It is an insect which is helping in the process of pollination. So the wasp, so that is entering inside the inflorescence from this place. Okay. So as the insect is entering inside, it can lay eggs on sterile flower. So the insect, what benefit the insect is getting? The insect is getting the safe place to lay eggs, because this is a safe place, this is a closed place. So naturally the eggs will be protected. And when from the eggs, the young ones they are hatched, then the seeds which are produced here inside the fruit after the process of the pollination and the fertilization, now these larvae they will feed on the seeds of fig. So the insect is getting the benefit that it is getting a safe place to lay eggs on the sterile flower, and also after the hatching, when the larva is coming out, then the larva is taking the seed as food. Okay. Now how the fig flower is getting benefit? As the wasp is entering inside, then all the pollen grains which are stuck to the wings of the wasp, now they can pollinate these fertile flower. Because while entering also, now the male flower which are present here, the pollen grains they will stick to the wings of the insect, and as the insect is coming to the female flower, it is helping in the process of pollination. So the plant is getting the benefit that the flower is pollinated, and also the wasp is also getting benefit. So this is a kind of the mutualism relationship. Okay. If there is any kind of the change in the fig flower, then the change should be there in the wasp also. If there is no co-evolution, then the process of mutualism it cannot continue. Okay. Now another example is the orchid, because as I have told you before also in the previous video, you have to remember each and every example, because you may not get the direct question, you may get the indirect question in the board exams. Okay. So this is a very important question from board examination point of the view. Orchid is again a very important question, always you get question in the board exams. Okay. Orchid is a flowering plant. It is a very exotic, a very costly flowering plant which is having a different type of the flower. And the orchid flower is having 5 petals. The largest petal is having marking, and the marking they resemble female bee. Alright. So the orchid flower is having 5 petals, and the largest petal is having marking on the petal, and because of the marking it seems to be, it looks as female bee. Now the male bee, thinking the petal as the female bee, sits on the flower and thinks that the male bee is populating the female bee, but actually in the process the bee is helping the plant in the process of pollination. When again it is visiting the another flower of the orchid, then it is transferring the pollen grain from one flower to another flower. So why it is called sexual deceit or pseudo copulate? Sexual deceit माने cheating करना. Sexually plant जो है उसको cheat कर रहा है. बी सोच रहा है कि वो copulate कर रहा है female bee को, but actually copulation नहीं हो रहा है. तो इसको हम क्या बोल रहे हैं? Pseudo copulate. Pseudo means false. Copulate means copulation. So false copulation यहाँ पर हो रहा है, और sexually the plant is cheating the bee. So if there is any kind of the change taking place in the orchid flower, in the morphological character, then the bee will not be able to recognize the orchid. So the changes should be in both. The change should be in such that the change should be there in the female bee also, and the same change should be there in the orchid petal also. Then only the male bee will be able to recognize the female bee or the petal of the orchid flower. So this is also the case of co-evolution. अगर आप बोर्ड में एग्जाम्स क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं कि को-एवोल्यूशन क्या है, और आप एक्सप्लेन कीजिए एग्जाम्पल्स दे करके. तो आप केफिक का भी एग्जाम्पल आप देख सकते हैं और ऑर्किड का एग्जाम्पल जो उसको भी एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं। द नेक्स्ट काइंड ऑफ इंटरैक्शन दैट इज कॉमेंसलिज्म. In commensalism, one organism is getting the benefit and the other organism or the other species is neither harmed nor benefited. So we can explain by giving the sign. One is getting benefit, so that is the plus sign, and the other is a neutral, so the neutral you can write down as 0. Okay. So here also this kind of the relationship we can explain by giving so many examples. First one, so that is epiphyte. In epiphyte, so that is a plant which is growing on the branches of big tree. Like in the forest also you might have seen that on the branches of the mango tree some small plants are developing. If this is the mango tree and this is the branch, then on the branch you can see these kind of small plants, they are growing. So they are called epiphyte. So they are not parasite. Parasite, you know that the parasitic plants, they are depending on the host for getting the food. But here the epiphyte is not depending on plant for food. So what benefit the plant is getting? As it is developing on the branch of the big trees, it is getting sunlight because it is a small plant. So if the plant will grow in soil, then the amount of the sunlight the plant will get will be very less. Alright? So the plant is growing on the branch and the roots are aerial roots are developing, which can take oxygen and the moisture from the atmosphere, and the green leaves are there which can prepare the food. So here the plant is getting, this epiphyte is getting the benefit, and the mango tree is neither harmed nor benefit. Okay. Now the second example, that is the whale and the barnacle. Whale is a very big animal and the barnacle, these are small animals which are struck to the body of the whale. So here the whale is not getting harm or the benefit from the barnacle because it is a very large animal, so no other animal can think to harm whale. And the barnacle is protecting itself because that it is connected to the body of the whale. As the whale is moving from one place to another place very fast, the barnacle is also moving to the large distance, and also it is helping getting food to barnacle. So the barnacle is getting protected and also getting the food because of the large habitat of the area, whereas the whale is neither getting benefit nor harm. So this is also another example of commensalism. Then the third example, that is the cattle and the egret. You have seen that in the field where cattle is grazing, then beside the cattle you can see white color bird, they are also walking. So they are called egret. So what benefit the egret is getting? As the cattle is grazing, then the insect which are there on the vegetation, the insect they are getting flight. They are moving from that place, and in the process of the moving they can be seen by egret, and the egret can take the insect as its food. So the egret is getting the benefit because the egret is, there is no need to work to find out the insect, easily it is getting the insect, and the cattle is neither getting benefit nor harm. The last example, that is the sea anemone and the clownfish. Sea anemone is having tentacles, and these tentacles can release poisonous compounds. So that is the way how the sea anemone is protecting itself from its predator. And the clownfish, these are small fishes in group, they are also moving on the side of the sea anemone, so that they are also getting protected themselves from the predator, and they are getting benefit. The clownfish is getting benefit, and the sea anemone is neither harmed nor benefited. So these are all the examples of commensalism, and this is the end of the chapter.